Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
So let's do some Halloween recs. It is fall.
Woo!
It is the beginning of October. So we have a few Halloween recommendations for you guys today. But before we get started with that, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. We are still doing our Road to 1K giveaway. Mandy, tell them where we're at.
When we get to 750, we'll be giving away 9 Minutes by Beth Flynn. It is signed by her. It is an awesome read. You definitely want it. So make sure to hit that subscribe button and follow us on Instagram for an extra entry.
Okay, so I'm going to be the first to admit that finding Halloween reads is interesting because I don't like to be scared at all. And I don't think that there's too many out there that are scary. There's dark, but there's not really scary. At least I don't look for those. I don't know. What do you got there, Mandy? What do you think?
I don't know. I have a variety. I went with a variety of themes. So I have like just a traditional, like they meet at a Halloween party. I have ghosts. I have a vampire.
Mm-hmm.
I have a murder mystery party. Like that's kind of what I went with.
Yeah, like there's some paranormals that I read that there's some things that don't sit right with me in paranormal, so it's hard. There's just some things that it's just hard. Sometimes it's hard to find one that works for me, but I do have some good stuff. I got a few here. But let's talk about our buddy read, because that is a great one. This is like the ultimate not paranormal. This is the ultimate Halloween book. So this is Penelope Douglas's Devil's Night series. The Devil's Night series is what it's part. This is the third one, Kill Switches, in the Devil's Night series. So okay.
Read Corrupt, then read Hideaway, and then be ready to do Kill Switch with us on September 21st at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Yeah. So those are like perfect. All 4 of those books that are in that series are great for Halloween because they take place around Halloween and they're dark and they're creepy. But they're extremely popular. So we just thought that we would show you guys that and talk about our next read coming up. So we have 10 recs for you guys, 5 books each of some Halloween recommendations. So Mandy, you want to go first?
Sure. Okay. My first recommendation is where they meet on Halloween. But in this book, it keeps coming up throughout the series. So I'm going to use that as my first recommendation. And this is the Vegas Aces Quarterback series by Lisa Suzanne. In the first book, Traded, Jack and Kate meet at a Halloween party. Kate is dressed like a cat. Her best friend gives her a shove, so she literally falls in front of Jack, the quarterback. And he is very concerned about what happened to her, so he actually picks her up and carries her off, and they end up hooking up. And they're done, and she feels like there's this connection with them, and she's like kind of thinking this through in her head, really, like, I mean, it happens pretty quick. And then there's a knock on the door, and he is told by a member of his team that his pregnant girlfriend has shown up, and he's like, I have to go. And she's devastated that this just happened. And to make matters worse, somebody took a picture of them, and her in the cat costume becomes a meme. And then we fast forward several months later, and she is desperate for a job. And so she takes a job. She normally works as a nanny, but she takes a job where she's going to be babysitting a team member from the Vegas Aces. And it turns out to be Jack. Dun, dun, dun. So that is my first Halloween rec.
Okay. My first Halloween rec is a Kay Webster.
Oh.
Because why not? So this is Bond Deeper Than Blood by Kay Webster. And instead of me trying to tell you guys what it's about, I'm just going to read the back because it does it so much better. So this is a stepdaughter vampire romance with a vampire killer, like a vampire hunter. She's the huntress. So let me just read to you what this says here back here. So this says, they took everything from me as a child. 2 crazed vampire twins stole my family from me and nearly my life. Worse, they turned my favorite person into one of them. I am now a ruthless vampire slayer with one purpose: find the evil twins and seek my revenge and a mercy killing for him. He'd want nothing less. My mission is clear. I just have to find them first. All goes well until I see him again. For so long, I've ached to end his miserable existence he was forced into, but he doesn't want that at all. He only wants me. So these vampire twins came in and killed her family, including her stepdad that she was very close to. And she's been hunting him down for years to put his life to an end. Then she sees him again. And that's not what happens. So. And it's Kay Webster, so it's not terribly long. You know, her book is about 200-ish pages. A little over, maybe. Right at 200. It's at $199. Yep, $199. It's great.
Okay.
Okay,
my next Halloween rec is a ghost-themed Halloween rec. Or where she sees ghosts, I guess. So this is A Stitch in Time by Kelly Armstrong. This is about Bronwyn, who travels back in time when she is visiting her aunt at her aunt's Thorn Manor, is what it's called. And she's visiting her aunt there, and she is able to, in a specific spot in the home, travel back to time where she meets William, who is her age, but back in time. And the two of them are friends, and she spends a ton of time with him every summer. And as they get older, there starts to become like a little tiny bit of an attraction, but they're not quite there yet. And she promises to come back, but some things happen in her life, in her time, where she's not able to come back. And 20 years pass, and her aunt has passed away, and she's inherited the manor. So she flies over to Europe to go to the manor. And she's just taken back to kind of that time. And she ends up time traveling back to see him. And William has turned into a very bitter, difficult old man. Not really old man, but like when you picture an old man, like he's secluded himself from the town because there's been a little bit of a scandal involving him. So he's just shut himself in. So just think kind of that bitter old man, but he's young. That's what I'm trying to describe, I guess. And so he's mad that she didn't come back. He doesn't understand why. So there's a lot of things going on now. Like there's the scandal that's caused some problems, and Bronwyn sees ghosts, and that plays a huge role in what's going on in this story. So I absolutely love this. It's one of my favorite time travel romances, but it also definitely, with all the ghost things going on and this mystery, definitely has major Halloween vibes. So it's a perfect read for October.
Yeah, that whole series. They even have like Christmas novellas and stuff too. And Did you see that the 4th full-length novel in that series just came out this month?
I did not see that.
Yes.
No, I haven't read the 3rd one, the pirate one. I have not read that one.
Yeah, so it's a sister to one of those girls, because the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th are all the heroines are sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's the oldest one. So I'm excited for it. So yeah.
All right.
Okay, so it is not going to be a recommendation video without Jessica recommending a Grace McGinty book. Shocker! So I
am floored.
I bet you are. Newly Undead in Dark River. I have talked about this a few times, but this is perfect for Halloween, especially if you're like me and you get freaked out real easily in books. This is a vampire romance, but it is hilarious. And it is upbeat as far as vampire romances go. Like there's parts where I'm like, should I be laughing? But yeah, I'm laughing at this one. So this is about Micah. She wakes up in a storm drain outside of this little tiny town in Canada as she's backpacking through Canada. And she cannot remember how she got there. Why is she in a storm drain? All she knows is she wakes up and she is starving. Like she is so hungry and she's so thirsty. And there's this sign that says, "Welcome to Dark River," right above her. So she just goes traipsing into town and she walks into this diner. And if you've ever watched Once Upon a Time, like that is what I picture, that little tiny town of Storyville, and the diner, the grannies run, because there's an old lady that runs the diner, her and her husband. And she walks in and she's like, "I'm starving." And they give her something to drink and she starts drinking it down, not realizing that it's blood, because she's a vampire and she hasn't realized that she's been turned. So somebody in this town who they're not allowed to turn humans, they're not allowed to drink from humans. They have all of these rules. This whole town are vampires. So they have all of these rules. And somebody has broken those rules by turning her and drinking from her. They probably tried to kill her, but weren't successful. So you have this mission of trying to figure out what happened to her during this whole time, like during the book, like you're trying to figure out what happened to her, who did it, who would be out to hurt her. But this is reverse harem, so you do have the sexy sheriff that comes and rescues her, and you have a wolf shifter in this, and a few other vampires that show up for a good time. Because yeah, that's what my little X cup back here comes from. Just man drinks tea and does shibari. So I mean, tie me up and hand me a cup of tea. Love it.
The weirdest sayings.
If you read the book, you'd know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my next book is I did ghosts. Now I'm moving. So I started with Halloween night. I did ghosts. Now I'm moving to vampires too.
Okay.
So. My next book is Until the Sun Falls from the Sky by Christian Ashley. And this is book number 1 in the 3. Book 1, vampire. Book 2, shifter. Book 3, wraps everything up. Was not my favorite. I really loved book 1 and 2. The whole series, though, has major Halloween vibes and would be perfect for October reading. So book 1 focuses on Lucian, who is an 800-year-old vampire, and Layla, who is a 40-year-old woman. Dun, 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 age gap. So she is selected, and by selected, I mean forced, to be a concubine to Lucian. Lucian sets her up in like a wonderful home, and the catch is he gets to feed off of her, and he like takes care of her. But basically, she kind of starts to feel like a side piece in this situation because he has a mate. Dun, dun, dun. And she's supposed to feel really special because she's a Buchanan. There's also some other forces working here, and Lucian starts to throw out all the rules of the vampire world. And that's when the story really kind of starts to take off.
Really gets going.
For us. Yes.
They're so good. I love both of them too.
Yes.
So good.
It was really good.
Yep, they're good. They're favorites of mine. So I'm going to take your vampire and wolf shifter romances, and I'm going to see you a basilisk and a psych ward.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, so my next recommendation is Cupid Psycho by Beatrix Hollow. So this is about our heroine, Bree. She is obsessively in love with her psychotic vampire serial killing psychiatrist. And, because she's crazy and she's a little half-blood vampire herself that she just doesn't know it yet. She lives in the regular human world. But because she catches him killing some people and it doesn't faze her at all, and she figures out that he's a vampire, he has her admitted to this psychiatric hospital, this Verfallen psychiatric hospital. Well, it's a psychiatric hospital for all of these paranormal creatures, but they try to pretend that they're not paranormal. Like when they go to their group counseling session, they'll be like, so you think you're a vampire? And like the woman who leads it is like all chirpy and happy, but people are dying left and right because these patients are, crazy. And on top of that, they're paranormal creatures. So it's a laughable good time. It actually is pretty funny for as dark as this book is. She meets 2 other creatures when she's there. One is a wolf shifter, and one is a basilisk whose skin cannot be touched. Like you cannot touch him at all because he's venomous. So he covers his body from head to foot. It is awesome. It is so fun. I loved this one. It was funny in parts where it really shouldn't be, but it is also dark as well. I listened to the audio, and it was really good. They had a different narrator for each male character. So it is reverse harem because she does get with all 3 of those guys. But yeah, of course, so good. I was getting excited thinking there was another one because it looks like there's another book after this. Well, this is a standalone. And whatever's coming after it has not been published yet, even though the picture of it is up on Goodreads. So I was all excited, and I went, oh, no, nothing there. So not yet anyway.
All right.
Because the end of the book sets up a new situation.
Oh, gotcha.
At the asylum. So it was so good. But yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. My next Halloween rec is monster-based this time. It's also a retelling. So this is called Jackal by Blake Zoe. For a second, I was like, Blake Zoe. That just sounds, I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Okay, so it's Jackal by Blake Zoe. And this is Catherine, who's working as a lab assistant to Henry Jekyll. No, that would be Hyde, right?
I don't know. I always get it backwards. Who's who?
This is about Catherine, who is working as a lab assistant to Henry Hyde. And Hyde, as we know, is like the scientist guy. And he is taking this formula he's creating and he turns into Jekyll. And that unleashes his like animalistic cravings for Catherine. And he goes for what he wants. It's a little like out there, but it's also like a retelling of Jekyll and Hyde. So you got to kind of bear with it. I would probably check triggers because there is some like forced stuff that happens in a roundabout way. It's a novella. I forgot to say that. That's why I'm like, what else do I say about this without giving out a bunch of information? So yeah, so if you're looking for a quick Halloween read with a monster, read Jekyll by Blake Zoe.
Perfect. Okay, so my next book is definitely not a novella. It's thicker. So it's thicker. So this is Wild by Dee Prince. This is the first book in her Savage Alpha Shifters series. The third book, that ring light is just in my way. The third book just came out this week, like 2 days ago, and I'm dying to get into it. But these are all wolf shifters. So this is about Tyson. By the way, this is like one of my favorite shifter books ever. So just so you know. So it's about Tyson. He's been raised by his uncle. He doesn't know what happened to his parents, really. He's been told lies by his uncle. They've lived in this little cottage out in the wilderness, and he's been wild his whole life. He's let his wolf run free, and he like to the point where he forgets how to change back sometimes. So it's getting kind of dangerous for him. And then you have Ivy. And she's been on a weekend retreat or a girls trip away or something to that effect. And she's on her way home and she's driving down these country roads and she hits what she believes is an extremely big black dog. But then that extremely big black dog retaliates and kind of whacks her car and she almost goes over the embankment. And then he kind of saves her car because the big black wolf turns into a big studly dude with all the muscles and the hair and the, So turns out Tyson had smelled Ivy, because that's the thing, from way far away and realized that this is his mate. And so when he finds her, she's had this car accident and she's stunned and she's shocked and she passes out and he takes her back to his cabin where he's going to keep her because she's his. And she's like, you can't just do that. And he's like, yeah, but you're mine. Because he's been raised savage. Like he's wild. He's savage. So there's a lot of her trying to convince him that, I mean, I would have just rolled over and stayed, but that's just me. But I love this series, this whole series. It just keeps getting better and better and better. And so I'm dying to read the next book, but start with this one right here. So yes, perfect Halloween read.
Okay. So I just realized that I set my book aside thinking that I was done and not.
You're not done.
Sorry. Yeah. I need coffee or something. I don't know. All right. So my last book is a Halloween themed murder mystery event. So it is Hollows Grove. This is also a novella, and this is by Lee Jackal, and this is Eve and Dorian. Now, when you read a novella, you got to go into it knowing that it's going to be kind of quick and kind of smutty. This is part of her Holly Knight series. So each character from all the books that I've read so far in this series seems to have kind of a kink. This one has the pleasure dom kink in it. So this is the murder mystery party is being held by Eve's best friend. So Eve agrees to help her. And then Dorian is there helping because the best friend is his sister. And so Eve and Dorian have kind of always had this weird relationship where he likes to kind of torment her and teases her a little bit. And so she tries to avoid him, but some of that avoidance is because there's this attraction between the two of them, but he's like her best friend's brother. So she's trying to keep away from that, so to speak. And during this murder mystery event, while they're setting everything up, there's some time for them to be alone together because they're partnered, and like, just the whole atmosphere just gets them hot and bothered, and things start happening. Again, it's a novella, so take it as you will, but it does have that Halloween theme to it called Hollows Grove.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
All right, so the last one we have is Cursed to Be Mine by Miranda Grant. So this book is not out on Amazon yet. It's scheduled to be released on October 30th, but it is on Miranda Grant's website. So if you just go to Miranda Grant, like just Google Miranda Grant author, you can get to her website and get it. I would strongly suggest doing that because it's an instant download from her website. It's like $2 or $3. It's not very much. It's under 10. Let's just put it's under 10. I cannot remember exactly how much I spent. Plus it's like in a different currency. So anyhow, it's under 10. It's fine. Just go get it. Because this one has all the triggers. The one on Amazon, so it was banned on Amazon, and then she had to like soften it to put it onto Amazon. So this is like the original that you're getting from her. But this is a story where this is a psycho stalker. He's a witch is what he is. But this has wolves, vampires, and witches. They're all in a gang war, basically. They're all in this big war. They're like mafia families of their own, and they're all battling each other. But when we first start out, by the way, check triggers. This one has all of them. It has all of the triggers. But we're starting out there knowing that there is a group of humans that fight these supernatural creatures. I think of like the show Supernatural. Like this really gives supernatural feels. And there's only so many of us that know that these people are out there, so we're fighting them. You have our hero who is obsessed with the heroine to the point where he made a copy. He lives next door to her, and he made a copy of her house key so that he can sneak in and watch her sleep and do things to her while she's sleeping without her knowing. He is absolutely obsessed with her. So it is crazy. Now I'm going to tell you guys what I told you before. If you heard me talk about this one, I'm not going to give too much more away because it gives everything away in this book. But the first 13 chapters were hard because we have a situation going on where I'm like, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the way this person's treating somebody else. But once you get through that chapter 13, you go, oh, and like it all makes sense. It just clicks. But you have to promise, if you're going to read this, you have to get through those first 13 chapters. And as a parent, it was really hard for me to do. Not that there's child, touchy bad things happening. It's other stuff, but you have to get through the first 13. And then you're going to go, whoa, I did not see that coming. Because I did not see that coming at all. So definitely check this out. This one is a definite Halloween read.
All right. There you have it.
Yeah, that is all of our
big variety of Halloween reads.
Yeah, that is all of our good Halloween recs for you guys. So yeah, go grab one and read that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure to check back. Oh, wait. Hold on. Comment. What are some Halloween books that you love that you've read before, or what are some books that you're looking forward to reading this Halloween season? And then also make sure you check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video.